Hey guys, a quick summary video that I'll try to put into more of a DIY, but for some things that are already processes learned. I am going from my 2000 Volkswagen Passat V6 OEM fuel pump to an AEM 340 liter per hour fuel pump. This is also E85 safe, part number 50-1220. It comes with the pump itself, and then it also comes with the filter here, and then there's a little washer over here in a small bag that you'll not want to lose because that's how it retains the filter here. The original pump kind of sits in a similar format, and then it's got a series of all these little, I don't want to call them baffles, but whatever, that kind of like hold it in this basket for going to the AEM. All you're going to need to recycle is the very lower section. You can see how it clips to the top. I made a little alignment marking here, and I also positioned the pump with the filter basket to kind of mirror how it sits in the OEM configuration. And then on the inside, you can typically buy this kit with the option to get this bracket. If not, you can purchase one from 034 Motorsports. It's the same one that they use on the 2.7 twin turbo Audi motor. The part number for this aluminum guy, if you need to buy it from 034, is this guy here, 034-106-6001. And you can see that it is just basically a giant clamp ring. Here you go, you slip it in, clamp it there nice and tight. These guys just utilize the existing bushings, and so you'll have them kind of on the top side going to the top portion of this clipped in basket, and then on this bottom side as well. Fits a little snugly, so you'll want to take these black grommets and kind of shove them into the underside pegs of this guy first. The interior diameter right here was a little snug, so I just had to twist them on there. That was the only feedback that I had from that. Getting the filter and the housing on, be gentle. You don't want to tear this up, otherwise it has no purpose. This guy here, I attempted to do with some needle nose pliers. Pretty difficult because it is a very snug fit. What I ended up doing was using a 3/16 drill bit to drill into 18 gauge steel. Use that to make sure I had enough clearance. You can see how there's a little bit of a radius here on the edge. Made sure that was smooth so it wasn't going to mess up the plastic. And then press firmly on. I was able to get it immediately. Trying to use two flatheads just was simply not going to work for that. Wiring anywhere else, black is kind of a ground. It is power in this case. You can confirm, and I have confirmed with a voltmeter, that the guy going to the 12 volt here is in fact the power. So if you want to identify that, you can simply plug this guy into the harness. You can stick this guy to a voltmeter and then ground out the voltmeter, and it should read when your wife is cranking it over for you. So have her come out to the garage, crank your hog for you. You know how that goes. So all I'm going to do is, on this guy here, I've got my positive and my negative. So I'm going to, it'll be a little wonky, but red actually goes to black. Black on the AEM side goes to yellow here. After that, my existing outbound line that is currently nippled goes right here. And then the return line here, the hose that looks similar to this, is inside the tank. So really all I need to do is connect wires. And then the also very interesting thing that I learned while I'm doing this that I hadn't thought about before is, but what about electrical connectors in gasoline? How does that not just blow me up? Well, there's a big absence of oxygen in your tank. There's just only going to be gas vapor. Of course, I'm letting in a little bit right now, but that's not going to be an issue. But because it's just completely saturated either in gas vapor or gasoline itself, any of the spark that could potentially, ignite is immediately passivated by the fuel itself. So it sounds really strange. You can Google it, ask Siri, ask ChatGPT about it, but it is like completely safe. I'm going to use some butt connectors that are weatherproof. That's going to be the closest thing I can find at the auto store that will just kind of be like corrosion resistant, I guess, and we'll go from there. Anytime I disfigure OEM wiring, I try to leave myself a little bit of a tail in case I need to revert for any reason. I'll Ziploc bag these guys and store them away, and then I've got an Excel sheet that tells me what bin I threw it in, but that way, in case you ever need to revert back, you can just strip this down, reconnect it on that side, you're good to go. Got my red positive here going to the black positive here that I confirm with 12-volt battery supply of power, and then on the AEM side, the negative black wire going to the opposing yellow on the OEM harness side. From there, it's just utilizing the existing 4-pin, and we are off to the races. Next little pro tip, after you get your connectors on and you're assembling your hose, of course you want to push downward. You don't want to put any angular stress on it. These things seem like they're pretty rigid, but it doesn't seem like it'll crack on you. You just want to be safe. And what I did was, first I tried to do a little heat with the heat gun on there, and it didn't really change anything. So I ended up just using some alcohol here. You could use WD-40 if you wanted to, just a little spray on there, jam it on real fast, let things evaporate, good to go. Okay, for install, you're obviously going to have the thing staring you in the face right when you pull this cover off, which is going to be your return, your in, as I have it marked, and your outboard. I have a check valve here just to make sure that there's a redundancy and not let fuel flow backwards. Helps with starts. This guy remaining in the tank is the fuel level sender. Connects right here, and then this port will be for, you can see the hose right here, that is for my return line. So just plugging those two guys in, dropping this guy in from the forward position. I have it loosely clocked, and then it goes 15 degrees clockwise, counterclockwise when you're taking it out. Should just clip into place. I'm gonna waste an entire fucking headlamp battery because this guy with all its fucking tabs trying to sit in that well, first of all, it feels like because I went to an aluminum housing or something to hold the pump in place, that it's not letting the outer ring, I guess, maybe flex and drop into the inside diameter where it needs to then clock into, because this motherfucker does not want to sit all the way around. It wants to fucking... And I'm about to throw a fucking lighter in here. You remove the fuel pump, you'll want to make sure that you really clock what direction it goes in. It's gonna fucking fight you. Even though all the tabs look like they are clocked evenly from each other, it seems like there's a specific orientation. What I did was removed the lower portion of the fuel pump assembly that I put together. I told you to recycle the lower section and then the upper thinner ring that clips into that. That lower section was removed. Much easier to get that on, find its home position, turn it, get it into place. And this may or may not present me with a new issue, but I will then just hopefully slip this guy into the whatever I just fucking clipped into there, and then this guy will come down on top and clip right back into those rings, hopefully. Otherwise, we'll probably just put a torch in there and we'll just watch this go up in flames, push it out there, go off to a motorcycle show. Okay, a little better illustration. Now you can see how there is the lower portion I told you to recycle. I've got the adapter plate in there. It was easy to line up, and the fuel just kind of acts as a lubricant. So those rubber grommets, kind of like these guys, that'll come down on top. We're able to slide in there really quickly. So now we should just have to bring this ring section down, use these clips to clip that into place. So fingers crossed on that one. And this top section too also has a specific orientation. You can kind of see down by my thumb, I'm wiggling it. You got to line that guy up, and then the 3 grommets, then this should work for us. Cool, that worked pretty well. The top ring snapped into the lower portion, got my connectors here, and so now it is time to just connect the return line and the fuel level sender. All right, everything is connected. That was pretty easy to do. And now we drop it in, make sure that you don't get any debris in there. There's already debris in there, but at some point you're just like, you know what, fuck it. Next tip, that is hopefully the final tip, there is the gasket here, it's much easier to, instead of have it around this guy and trying to shove it down into the hole, put it on the receiving side instead, and then this is much more willing to get in there. Yeah.
You increase it to
69. All right, not bad. We're working. Just took, what, 3 turns of the key to prime it all up, and yeah. Hell yeah, we're running. We just need to button this stuff up now. We've got the AEM 340 liter per hour pump that's also E85 safe, so it's running just fine in the tank here. And we just have our 27-pound injectors from the PES G2 kit, just a standard inline fuel filter there, nothing else. So if you're ever curious if you could run the 340 liter per hour pump on your stock car that didn't have a charger, you know, since mine's not stock at the moment, but more or less, yes, you could. I can just feel better fuel delivery. Wow, once we get these 60-pound injectors in and the smaller pulley, this thing is gonna love being alive.